unveiling the heartbreaking truth behind Eala's historic gold. Mom's shocking revelation. If you think you know the story of Eala's historic gold medal win in Bangkok, I need you to stop everything and listen, because the scoreline on the board is lying to you. Yes, the history books will state clearly that on December 18th, 2025, Eala defeated Mananka Sawini to end a 26-year drought for the Philippines at the seagames. But what the record books won't tell you, and what was almost kept a secret forever, is the devastating cost of that victory. We are not just talking about a tennis match today. We are talking about a revelation that has shaken the tennis world to its core. Moments after that final point was won, amidst the jubilation and the screaming fans, Alex's mother, Riza, didn't just celebrate. She broke down. And I don't mean she shed a few tears of joy. She collapsed under the weight of a secret she had been carrying for months, perhaps years. She revealed what she called the darkest years of her daughter's life, a period of injury, silent agony, and brutal criticism that nearly ended Alex's career before this golden moment ever happened. This is a story of how a 20-year-old girl, dismissed by critics as overhyped and betrayed by her own body, walked into a hostile arena and exorcised a ghost that has haunted Philippine tennis since 1999. This is a heartbreaking, shocking, and ultimately triumphant truth behind the gold. Welcome to the deep dive. Welcome back to Champions Tennis. Before we unravel the layers of this incredible story, before we get into the tears, the tactical brilliance, and the shattering of a curse that has outlasted entire careers, I have to take a brief second to share some massive news with you. We have officially crossed the 1,000 subscriber mark. This community is growing faster than an Eala forehand screaming down the line, and quite frankly, I am humbled. To every single person who has hit that button, thank you. You are building this platform. If you haven't joined us yet, now is the time to smash that subscribe button, because the content we have lined up for the coming season is going to be unlike anything else out there. Now, I need you to grab your tissues and maybe settle in with a strong drink, because what we are about to discuss regarding Eala is the stuff of legend. It will wreck you, but in the absolute best possible way. To truly understand the gravity of what happened in Bangkok, we have to set the scene properly, because context is everything in sports. We cannot appreciate the summit if we don't understand the mountain. It is December 18th, 2025. Bangkok, Thailand. The air is thick, humid, and heavy, pressing down on the spectators and players alike like a wet blanket. But that physical discomfort was absolute nothing compared to the psychological pressure cooker that was boiling over on center court. For 26 long, agonizing years, the Philippines have been waiting for this specific moment. Not since Mari Chris Fernandez stood on top of the podium way back in 1999 has a Filipina claimed gold in the women's singles event at the Southeast Asian Games. I want you to really think about that timeline for a second. 26 years. That is an eternity in sports. An entire generation of tennis players was born, trained, competed at the elite level, and eventually retired without ever seeing that gold come home. It had started to feel less like a statistic and more like a curse, a ghost that haunted the corridors of Philippine tennis, constantly reminding every new prospect of what they couldn't quite achieve, no matter how hard they worked or how much talent they possessed. Enter Eala. She is just 20 years old. She walks into this cauldron with the weight of an entire nation's hopes crushing down on her shoulders. She wasn't just playing a tennis match. Let's be real. She was attempting to break a curse. She was there to slay a ghost that had been terrorizing her country's tennis program for longer than she had been alive. And the narrative gods, as they often do, provided the ultimate antagonist. Her opponent was Mananka Sawini, the home crowd favorite. Imagine the scene. Thousands of Thai fans screaming Sawini's name, creating a wall of sound designed specifically to intimidate, rattle, and overwhelm the young Filipina. The atmosphere was hostile. It was loud. It was designed to break her. But if you know anything about Alex, you know that intimidation is a currency she refuses to trade in. She walked onto that court with ice water running through her veins and a fire burning in her heart. A paradoxical combination that would prove absolutely lethal. Now, let's look at the match itself. The final scoreline reads 6-1, 6-2, on paper. If you just check the app on your phone, it looks like a demolition job. It looks like Alex just waltzed onto the court and crushed her opponent without breaking a sweat. But anyone who actually watched that match, anyone who saw the opening exchanges, knows that those numbers are a lie. They don't tell the real story. This was war. In the very first game, Alex found herself in a hole. She was down love 40, staring at an early break on her own serve. The Thai crowd was deafening at this point, sensing blood in the water. They thought the pressure had gotten to her. The critics watching from home, the keyboard warriors, were already warming up their tweets. You can imagine what they were preparing to say. She can't handle the pressure. She's crumbling under expectation. Here comes another disappointing silver medal. But then, right at the precipice of disaster, something clicked inside Alexa. Something fundamental shifted in her body language. She simply refused to yield. Point by grueling point, she clawed her way back from that love 40 deficit. She started silencing sections of the Thai crowd with winners that painted the lines with surgical precision. She didn't just win that game. She used it as a psychological launching pad. She completely dismantled Sawini's game plan, taking the first set 6-1 and leaving her opponent looking absolutely shell-shocked. The second set saw Sawini trying desperately to mount some kind of comeback, searching for any weakness she could exploit. But Alex had entered that rare zone that athletes dream about but seldom achieve. She wasn't just playing tennis anymore. She was exorcising demons. She was purging years of doubt, pain, and criticism with every forehand winner and every perfectly placed serve. When that final ball sailed past Sawini, sealing the gold medal and finally ending that 26-year drought, Alex didn't celebrate in the traditional sense. She collapsed. Not from physical exhaustion, though she was certainly spent, but from the sheer emotional release of a burden she'd been carrying alone for so long. And this, right here, is where the story transforms. This is where it stops being an inspiring sports narrative and becomes something much deeper, darker, and more human. This is why Riza, her mother, broke down in tears that wouldn't stop. Because mothers know things that the rest of us don't see. We, the public, watch tennis matches, and we see trophies. We see rankings. We see the highlight reels. We see the glamorous training footage at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain. We see the perfectly curated Instagram posts celebrating victories. But Riza knows the truth behind the content. She knows about the nights her daughter cried herself to sleep, overwhelmed by pressure and pain, feeling that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't going to make it after all. Riza's confession at courtside was raw. Her body was shaking with sobs she could no longer control. Her voice cracked and trembled under the weight of something she'd been carrying in silence. She spoke of the darkest years. She revealed that just a few months ago, in August 2025, Alex Eala was in a completely different place mentally and physically. Do you remember the Cincinnati Open? Do you remember the sudden shoulder injury that forced her to withdraw? At the time, the tabloids and the sports blogs went absolutely wild. They published think pieces asking if she was finished. They asked if she was too fragile for the brutal grind of the professional WTA Tour. They asked if all the hype surrounding her since her junior days had been premature. Her ranking began to slip. That hype train, which had been steamrolling forward, suddenly derailed spectacularly. Riza revealed that those months represented a personal hell for the family. It was a period where the transition from junior Grand Slam champion to professional nearly broke her daughter in every way possible. There were days when Alex couldn't lift her arm without shooting pain. Days when the pressure being labeled the next big thing felt like a suffocating blanket she couldn't escape from. Days when she genuinely wondered if the sacrifice was worth it. This victory in Bangkok, therefore, represents so much more than adding another medal to a collection. This is a statement. Alex Eala didn't just defeat Mananka Sawini in a tennis match. She defeated the army of doubters who said she'd never recover from her injury. She defeated the ghost of 1999. She defeated the critics who wrote her off as overhyped. She defeated the part of herself that surely wondered, during those dark months, if she had what it takes. And she did it all on hostile ground, with a crowd screaming against her, turning their negative energy into fuel. The statistics around this achievement are genuinely mind-blowing when you dig into them. This marks Alex's 6th SEA Games medal, which is already an impressive haul for someone so young. But it is her first singles gold. She has been grinding toward this moment through previous appearances, collecting bronze in the team event, bronze in mixed doubles, consistently performing at a high level but always falling just short of the ultimate prize. She saved her best performance for the moment that mattered most, when the pressure was highest. Coach Denise Dye, herself a legend in Philippine tennis circles, was there. She noted that she hadn't witnessed a singles gold winner in decades. She had been there when the drought started back in 1999, watching year after year as Filipino players came close but couldn't quite break through. And now, she was there to see Alex Eala finally end the nightmare. The emotion flooding to the Filipino camp was electric, a release of tension that had been building for over a quarter of a century. So, the big question is, where does Alex go from here? What happens when you accomplish something that an entire nation has been desperately wanting for 26 years? The tennis world is already buzzing with speculation and insider whispers. With this gold medal hanging around her neck and her confidence restored to stratospheric levels, sources close to the Eala camp are suggesting that Alex is eyeing the Australian Open with renewed ferocity. The shoulder that betrayed her in August is now fully healed. The mental demons that plagued her during those dark months have been exorcised on the Bangkok courts. The critics who wrote her off are now scrambling to revise their assessments. What we are likely witnessing is the dawn of what could be the golden era of Alexandra Eala. If this SEA Games performance is any indication of what she is capable of when healthy and confident, the professional tennis world better prepare itself. Recent reports from Tennis Insider suggest that Alex has been training with intensity and focus that has impressed even the veterans at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Her team has been working on subtle adjustments to her serve motion to reduce strain on the shoulder while actually increasing power and accuracy. Her fitness levels are reportedly the best they've ever been, with her movement on the court noticeably quicker than it was even during her junior championship days. But perhaps most importantly, the mental work she has done to process the trauma of injury and the comeback has transformed her approach to competition. She is no longer the talented but sometimes tentative junior champion. She has evolved into a battle-hardened competitor who has stared into the abyss and refused to blink. The timing of this breakthrough is perfect for Philippine tennis. The country has been investing heavily in development programs, and having a reigning SEA Games gold medalist as the face of that movement provides invaluable momentum. Young players across the Philippines are watching Alex's journey and seeing that international success is possible, that the combination of talent, dedication, and resilience can overcome any obstacle. Alex's story also provides a crucial counter-narrative to the toxic cultures that sometimes develop in professional sports. We live in an era of instant gratification, where athletes are labeled busts or failures if they don't achieve immediate success. The pressure on young athletes is intense, with every setback documented and criticized online. Alex's journey through injury, doubt, and eventual triumph demonstrates that athletic development isn't linear. Setbacks are often necessary precursors to breakthroughs. Her willingness to be vulnerable, facilitated by her mother's emotional honesty, helps normalize the reality that even elite athletes face dark periods. International tennis publications are taking notice. Major outlets that rarely cover SEA Games competitions ran prominent stories about this win, recognizing the historical significance and a compelling personal narrative. Some analysts are already projecting that a healthy, confident Alex Eala could break into the top 50 within the next 12 months if she maintains this level of performance. What makes this story so compelling isn't just the athletic achievement. It's the human journey. It's about a girl who was broken, who faced criticism and physical pain, and who chose to fight. It's about a mother who watched her daughter suffer and couldn't take away the pain, but could be there to witness the redemption. It's about a country that never stopped believing. The pressure on Alex won't decrease from here. If anything, expectations will intensify. The critics who went silent will be back the moment she loses a match. The injury concerns will persist because tennis is a brutal sport. But Alex has now experienced something that will serve her for the rest of her career. She has been to the bottom and fought her way back to the top. She knows she can do it. That knowledge is more valuable than any physical skill. This is the real story of the historic gold medal. It's not just about ending a drought. It's about proving that setbacks are just setups for comebacks, that the darkest years can give way to golden moments, from the depths of injury held to the top of the podium, from social media mockery to national hero, from a daughter wondering if she could make it, to a daughter making her mother cry tears of joy. Alex Eala is the real deal, and what we are witnessing is just the beginning of a remarkable career. I want to hear from you. Do you think this gold medal is the spark Alex needs to crack the top 50? Or do you think the expectations are going to get too intense? What do you think happens at the Australian Open? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely read every single one, and your perspectives make these discussions richer. And listen, if you love this deep dive into the drama, the heartbreak, and the triumph of Alex Eala, do me a huge favor right now. Hit that like button. It helps the channel reach more tennis fans who need to hear these stories. And if you haven't subscribed, click that button and ring the notification bell. We are chasing 2,000 subscribers now, and I want you on this journey with us. This is Champions Tennis. I'll see you in the next video where we will break down what's next for Alex and all the other stories shaking up the tennis world. Until then, keep believing in comebacks, keep supporting excellence, and never count out someone just because they've hit a rough patch. As Alex Eala just proved to the entire world, champions are forged in the darkest moments, not in the easy victories.